and come here, as he does whenever he has a weekend off, to come and watch the World Touring Cars in action.
That's them coming up that long hill now into the final left, right, and onto the start-finish straight.
Don't forget, rolling start for the first race of every weekend. It's Viktor Shapovalov in the larder in the pits. Jaap van Lagen is on the grid. This is Jörg Müller. He starts in 16th position. Our poleman on the left is Alessandro Zanardi. He's leading them round in a very early green light. Here we go.
And Menu looks as though he's got a good start there.
And so is Porchero. Porchero is going to lead on the inside. Zanardi on the outside. Felix Porchero is leading, but look behind. Here come the Seats. It's Porchero, Zanardi, Menu around. Outside, sideways is the first of that's Montero, and he drops about 8 positions as everybody scrabbles round, because John, even though we've had a race today, offline it is very, very dusty and very slippery.
I mean, there's just so much rubbish comes off the side of the track here because there's no curbs, and the guys borrow as much of the curb and the grasscrete as they can, so it's very dusty offline. Rob Huff getting shuffled back in the order there.
Yeah, behind him Thompson and Farfus, so Huff is down to 5th behind Tarquini, who made a good start, and I think that Zanardi was caught out by the lights changing so quickly. He had a long straight still in front of him, and his teammate from the row behind got right onto it and right past him. And look at Gabriele Tarquini there in the first of those yellow Seats. He's in 4th at the moment, and he's having a look at 3rd place. Now, in previous years, John, this has been a really abrasive racetrack, and the Seats have had to, the front wheel drive cars have had to make their moves early and then try and defend them as their tyres go off. But with the new smooth surface, far less tyre wear, it's going to be far less of a worry for them.
Oh, it is, but the BMWs haven't really shown the real promise we expected from the rear-wheel drive cars in qualifying or free practice, but they've made a blinding start here, and as you say, the front-wheel drive guys have to get out.
Huff and Thompson came together in morning warm-up. Thompson down the inside of Rob Huff this time. Has he got enough of an overlap under braking? Yes, that's enough to go through.
And he's going to let Miller through as well, isn't it?
That's Rydell. And Farfus, I think, that was Rydell, who's got ahead. Oh no, Ivan Müller was behind. Farfus got ahead, so that is Ivan Müller. So Ivan's made a good start as well. So he couldn't catch a cold in qualifying.
Oh, Rob's got a hip and a shoulder from everybody here. Farfus has given him a belt as well.
Now, come race day, look, this is Jörg right behind Andy Prio. Push up the hill. This is... Well, Prio was 10th. And there, look, Zanardi wants to get by Porchero really badly, doesn't he?
Rob Huff suffered really badly in his first lap. I mean, he was very confident, very convincing that he was going to get a right result.
Oh, Coronel on the grass!
And the teammates shouldn't be running into each other, guys. Come on.
Coronel trying to go inside Rydell, who was already trying to go inside. Is that
Farfus? Farfus,
yes, it is.
That's a good gaggle. That's a really good battle.
Because behind them is Prio, behind them is Jörg Müller, and that is all the battle to take 8th away from Farfus. It started already on lap 1, and there's another 8.5 laps of this from Porchero, our race leader. That's Zanardi on the inside.
Oh, go on, yeah, go for it.
No, it goes right again. So Porchero did just enough to hold on. Now they're plunging off down the valley still, and this is a really fast downhill section of the track. Very wide, 15 meters wide, sweeping corners, wide curbs. You can use all the curbing without upsetting the car. And Menu now right on Zanardi's tail after that little move slowed them down. And there you can see the
Zanardi's team. Yeah, Menu's hanging on nicely to the back of these pair at the minute. If he could just get some heat in the tyres, the front-wheel drive cars really struggle to get heat in the rear tyres in the first few laps. Once that lands up to temperature, which will be about now, I would think, you'll start to see him sort of press on, give these two a bit of a hard time, I reckon.
Well, I would think now as well that unless he's made changes that he doesn't like, Huff's rear tyres shouldn't be giving him aggravation, and I think maybe that was the first couple of laps. The problem there was he didn't have enough grip at the rear. Thompson looking strong. Let's have a look again at the start. Look, well, Zanardi trying to judge the pace, but did not get the hammer down quickly enough when the lights went green. I think he was just caught out by that. And there you see.
And Huffy didn't just get quite far enough across and got tagged by the back of... Looks like he's got tagged, he got hipped out by Tarquini.
Yeah, and
then Tomo got him as well.
Farfus trying to get inside him as well. He got onto the dusty stuff, and that's Jörg Müller going past Andy Prio. No, it's not.
Prio gone past.
He's just held him off.
Müller,
Well, Jörg was just trying to get through all the way, and Prio managed to hold him off. There's Farfus in 8th place. 9th is Rickard Rydell. This is 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th all together. And Jaap van Lagen battling with the other independents, and that's very encouraging. Although although he's not scoring points, he's 5th in the independents in the Lada.
And there's a really good battle between the old British touring car teammates here, Tarquini and Thompson, for 4th place. And they're good mates, and I doubt very much if they'll tag each other, but that will be a really good battle, I would reckon.
So Porchero leading from Zanardi by 0.2 at the line, and as you can see, there's nothing in it. This is Jörg Muller's view, and there's no Andy Prio in front. That means he's got in front of him up to 11th. So they're a long way behind where they want to be, though. And still the lead trio, Porchero, Zanardi, Menu. Rob Huff, now then, you see, starting to come back into it.
Yeah, Huff's just set the fastest lap of the race there, and he's really set a quick sector time, so he's eventually getting his finger out here.
Well,
is that Nick Larini coming through there?
That is Larini, yes, the 3rd of the Chevrolet.
Yeah. So he's come
through
off
almost all the independents. He's now 15th. Oh, down the inside of Prio. That is one. I can't figure which the Seats. That is
Genet, is it not?
Yes, must be. He's the one right at the back of the queue. And as you said, Larini's Chevrolet coming through. And here, right behind it, well, the leader of the independents is the blue Seat. Pierre-Yves Courtal's right behind him, Sergio Hernandez, and the second Pro Team BMW, Stefano Daste. Then behind them, Frans Enxler and Jaap van Lagen. So all 5 top independents, in fact all 6 of the top independents, hammer and tongs there. So that is really turning into a very good race here as well.
Yeah, Alain Menu really, he's quite a light car this weekend. He doesn't have so much success balanced on it, and he really needs to capitalise on this. And their teammates, these guys are not going to stop each other. You're going to work together and they're going to go forward, because I think everyone really wants Zanardi to win this race.
Except Porchero.
Except Porchero and Alain Menu.
Well, don't forget, Porchero won race 1 here last year from pole. Now, is this a replay?
That was a good clean move. Yeah, it was a replay, but it was a good clean move. It was about like he was allowed through.
Well, you know, he had 2 or 3 really solid looks at him. Porchero's not giving up the place just because he likes the old guy. No. He's giving up the place because he done him up like a kipper.
Yeah, and Menu has now got everything up to temperature, and he's going to start to... I doubt if he's got the pace, the outright pace to catch Zanardi, but I'm quite sure he'll do away with Porchero quite soon.
I would think, yeah, he's got 6 laps still, so I would think you're absolutely right. He'll go by Porchero probably in the next 2. In fact, maybe even before that. There's Roberto Ravaglia on the left, the team boss. Alex Zanardi then leads the race after 3 laps. Augusto Farfus now the fastest lap of the race. He's in 8th place, and he and Rob Huff from the bottom of the point scoring positions getting quicker and quicker. But Alex Zanardi, it's interesting actually, Zanardi's not had a chance. Now on this first clean lap, I bet he's now going to be the fastest man on track.
I think he'll do that, but I'm just watching here. I mean, Rob Huff is actually in 7th place at the moment, and I'm not sure he would want to move much further forward, because that puts him in the front row of the grid for the second race, and he's been very consistently quick through free practice and qualifying. He was right up there. He just got shuffled out of the pack there in that first lap, which is a shame, but he's now far enough back that he wants to start exactly where he is, front row of the grid for the second race.
Yeah, and he and Farfus, 7th and 8th, are about 1.5 seconds apart, but Rydell is right with Augusto Farfus, so that could still be a battle for 8th place. Menu, though, all over Porchero a lap ago, or half a lap ago, and Felix has just gathered himself back together, got his rhythm back, and now he's closing in on the race leader, and as they start to make the climb up the hill, he'll be pulling away a little bit from Menu. Prio is currently in
14th place.
Now he's been passed by Jörg Muller, Target Montero and Nicola Larini, so I'm suggesting that look at the back of the car. Yeah, he got a little bobble, got out loose, and 3 of them went scooting by him.
Yeah, somebody's been chewing in his back bumper there, but I mean, Andy's not had a good setup. He felt at the beginning in free practice way back a few days ago that it was all looking good, but he just can't seem to get the balance in the car. He wasn't happy yesterday. He was a down in the mouth Andy Prio, not like him, and he really looks to be struggling there. 14th is not where he wants to be.
Well, he made wholesale changes, he told us, after morning warm-up, and I think that the track is now rubbered up and grippier, and I think that possibly they've over-egged the pudding. There's his father Graham, very proud man this weekend, not only having a triple world champion son, but who's been awarded an MBE in the Queen's birthday honours. I mean, that's a rare accolade for any sportsman. And there the independence battle. Pierre-Yves Courtals, and look, the Pro Team BMWs of Sergio Hernandez from the back row of the grid, don't forget. And Franz Engstler. Now the Engstler BMWs, the liquid moly cars, have taken a few races to get right on the front running pace. But boy, there now. And Prio pushing Montero. And it's not Montero's missing front bumper that equates to the damage on the back of Prio's car, because that had happened earlier. Hernandez is blowing smoke off that tyre. He's had a rub with somebody, probably coming up through the order. But Hernandez was electrifying in Po, and he is, I think, the quickest man in that independence category at the moment. Oh, and Huff out wide again. Yeah. Through has gone Farfus, and also Ivan Muller. So Ivan Muller now in the top 8.
The fastest BMW at the minute, or the fastest lap of the race, is Jörg Müller, as you can see, and I mean he's absolutely flying. But Nick Larini's up loads. He's up to 12th place now. Maybe they should start him in the back of the grid more often. He seems to go faster.
Now, Muller was ahead of Huff, and then when we just saw that, Huff was ahead of Muller and then drifted out, and Muller got back in front of him, so he lost a place to Farfus. So Huff went up to 6th, has now dropped down to 8th. Yeah, so he's in 8th.
So now he's in pole position for the second race.
Yeah, although obviously with a standing start and Farfus alongside him, it's going to be a tough battle into the first corner to try and stay in front. But he has been dropped to the back of the top 8. Now there's nobody too close behind him.
I don't know. Rydell's not. He's not far away.
You're right. No, he's closed in quite significantly. Ricard Rydell.
Ricard, he got a new engine before qualifying, and the car just, according to Rick, feels a whole lot better now. It just didn't quite have the grunt. So a nice new fresh diesel engine.
Well, for all the fact that he couldn't find a setup that worked for him in qualifying, Ivan Muller has got a very quick race car now. Muller coming off row 6 of the grid, 12th, 11th on the grid.
And he's heavy as car out there. He's carrying more success ballast.
Oh, drift out wide. Here comes Farfus.
Farfus just gets him.
Yep.
That's good turn, Messi.
No, this will be very clean. They're going all the way downhill into the left-handed braking area. It goes left-right. So Farfus has to concede there.
They just come back at him. Good move.
But you see, Ivan just got in a little too hot and locked the wheels up there, John, and skated away, didn't he? So
I think that's the problem, is the heavy front end of these diesel Seats. The boys reckon that they're going to root the front tyres. They're just not going to be capable after half the race.
Downhill braking area not helping him either. And that's why this track has traditionally suited BMW well, because it was quite abrasive before, and they spread the work on the tyres over front and rears, and so their tyres lasted longer. And Huff is coming back at Ivan. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now,
oh, no, don't do that.
Now, you see, okay, you want to stay in 8th place and da-da-da-da-da, but again, Prio has proved so many times, every single point, don't be 8th if you can be 7th, and give it everything to be 6th, and then see what race 2 brings. Who knows what the front 2 guys are going to do?
I mean, I say that he would like to stay where he is and be in 8th place, but, a race driver always wants to pass the car in front regardless of where he is, but cleverly you pull some points out of this race by finishing 8th, but more importantly, you're on the front row of the grid for the second race, which Huff could win. And
Jörg Müller just dived inside Rydell, going down into the lowest part of the track. Huff ditch hooking on the way up. Across the start line, Gabriele Tarquini 4th, Red Honda of Thompson 5th. Now that's its best race performance this year, but Farfus down the inside, and the front wheel drive cars, and again
they're
Thompson
really struggling now.
Yeah, I'm going to be struggling by mid-distance, and he is. But it's not achingly hot like it has been, and it's not wildly abrasive like it has been, so it's less now of an advantage for the BMWs than it has been in years gone by. Nonetheless, Zanardi, Porchero 1-2, Menu in 3rd, and then the battle behind Tarquini in 4th. Farfus now 5th ahead of Thompson, Ivan Muller, Rob Huff, with Jörg Müller ahead of Rydell, and that's a danger for Huff as well, to keep his Chevrolet in the top 8. And there is Jörg Müller. That is Jürgen Huff, and the BMW is going to go through. Now that was his replay of the move
on
with
Farfus and Thompson
going through to 5th past Thompson, but this is live, and Jörg Müller is looking to win race 2 in a big way, isn't he? And he's got another 3 laps to do it in to get into that 8th place ahead of Rob Huff. Muller down the inside. Huff defended as hard as he could. He gets back on the racing line.
He's going to get done twice here if he's not careful.
He had to chop back in to try and avoid leaving the door wide open. Look, his door mirrors folded back there. That's not because of contact, that's to keep them cheating the air as much as possible. And Huff down to 9th place, Jörg Müller up into 8th, and that won't stop there. He'll now want to get ahead of Ivan Müller up into 7th place, Jörg Müller, and get as many points out of race 1 as he can. Well, it's changing everywhere except for the top 4 positions. Alex Zanardi still leads from his teammate Felix Portiero by 1.2 seconds, and Alain Menu a further second behind in 3rd. 4 seconds adrift now, Tarquini in 4th, and if Tarquini is not 4th or 5th in each race, he's 5th and 4th. He is so consistently up at the front all the time.
Jörg Müller's certainly the fastest man on the track, and he's just one after the other. He's just plucking them off. Again,
in that downhill braking area, dived inside Ivan Müller, and Ivan had to let him go. He had nothing he could do about it. Now then, Tarquini and Farfus. This is interesting. Tarquini in 4th, Farfus right on his boot lid. They were 1.3 seconds apart at the beginning of the lap, John, and towards the end of the lap, they're not even 0.3 apart.
I mean, Zanardi's still popping in really quick laps here. He's just done his fastest lap of the race for him. Menu's again on it, but he's only 1 second behind Portero.
Farfus is going to pass Tarquini, and he does. I was going to say this lap, in fact this corner, and that's one of the benefits of the track here. It's got a long straight, very nearly a kilometre in length, and that means you can get a good tow. And now that the Seats don't quite have the pace that we saw from them, say, on the long straights in Brazil and Mexico, then the BMWs and everybody else can use the slipstream to close in on them in the traditional racing manner.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of arguments about the success weight and the penalties, and the Seats are only allowed to rev maximum revs to 4,100 revs. Everybody's still moaning and arguing about the politics of what's right and what's wrong, but frankly I think we've seen in this race so far there's been more overtaking, there's been more mixture of product. There's Hondas, there's Seats, there's BMWs, there's Chevrolets. There's a lot more passing than I've seen in the last couple of races. So maybe the weight is not far wrong at the moment.
Well, the other thing, of course, you've got to bear in mind is that manufacturers have to win to want to stay in the championship. They don't have to win everything, but you have to go back with something at the end of a season and say, look, we won 6 races, or we did this, or we did that, even if you didn't win the championship. So it's really vital for the health of a series like this that all the manufacturers have some time in the sunlight.
Yeah, and they are. I mean, most of them are going to do it. I mean, this Honda we're looking at now, it's new in the championship, and they're developing it, and James is using each race as a development program. But, you know, he said this morning, it's good, the car's getting better, but, you know, we're not ready to win races.
No.
But he is hanging on there in 7th place.
Well, that was what he was saying, wasn't it? Get into the first corner, get out safely, and then defend like Billy-O.
Yeah.
And he's still going to be in the points, and he might well end up towards the front of the race 2 grid as well.
He's going to be on the second row of the grid if nothing changes right now, but Jörg is definitely on the case at the moment.
Yeah.
The BMWs are producing the pace that we expected of them.
With the exception of Prio, who the wholesale changes after morning warm-up, I'm afraid, have gone completely the wrong way. He's now dropped down to 15th, but you're absolutely right.
But you see, maybe this track is coming back to the cars. There's more rubber coming onto the track, and maybe the changes that Andy made to his car, if he'd maybe just left it alone with the benefit of hindsight, it could be the car would have the grip this morning. You might see a change for race 2, but I'll tell you what, from 15th place, he's going to have a tough call in the second race.
He's going to have to change the car back to the way it was when it was quick in free practice, because the track is now no longer green and dusty, it's now grippier. And so, yeah, what he's done obviously was for a slippy, slidey track, and they don't have one anymore.
You see, Rob Huff now, with 1 lap to go, has really got to get past Ivan Müller here, because if not, Huffy's 9th, so he's not exactly where he wants to be. Instead of being in the front row of the next race, he's going to be sort of 5 rows further back.
Jörg Müller making the move. He goes straight down the inside of Gabriele Tarquini for 5th place, so that pushes Tarquini down to 6th, and that I'd have to check, but to my mind that might well be Tarquini's worst result of the season so far.
Yeah,
Top 6.
But he is still leading the championship.
Consistent old boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he says he's all blocks, it's cunning and guile.
Meanwhile, Zanardi still leading comfortably from Portiero. Menu hanging on for a race 1 podium, but he can't offer anything to Felix Portiero at the moment. And the real secret here, I think, for the BMWs, we've seen Jörg Müller and Augusto Farfus both prove it, is under brakes. Under braking, particularly with all the downhill braking areas that there are here, they can outbrake the front-wheel drive cars. They don't have to pass them on pace, they can pass them on braking. And there is the battle behind Jordi Genet, Prio, and then Hernandez and Engstler. So Pierre-Yves Courtals has been shuffled down. There's the blue Seat into third ahead of Olivier Tielemans and Andrei Romanov in the second Engstler Liqui BMW.
I don't think we've ever seen this situation where you've got the three-time world champion, I say, dicing with the privateers.
Desperately trying to stay in front.
Yeah, there's something not right with Andy's car. He just does not race that badly. There's something not right with it.
I'm afraid when they made their changes, the baby went out with the bathwater this morning, and the car has gone from bad to really worse.
Yeah, it's just not good.
He can barely get out of his own way, and it's not because he's forgotten how to drive overnight.
Now, interestingly, Alain Menu's just set the fastest lap of the race. He's just found some pace in that, which just completely destroys our theory, but the front-wheel drive cars destroying the front tyres. He's just managed to produce on the last lap fastest lap.
And here he is, and the reason is it's the last lap and he's trying to take second away from Felix Portero and get those extra couple of points. It's like the scoring here, same as Formula 1, 10-8-6-5, so it's worth a point.
It's a shame, Alan. We might have to word with him after this race, but it's a shame he hadn't got his finger out in the first lap and going this quick for the whole 10 laps. Maybe he could have won the race.
So it's wasted taking the mickey if he can't hear you. You'll have to.
I'll go and take the mickey after the race.
Meanwhile, last lap for Alex Zanardi, and this is going to be his second World Championship victory in the Touring Car Series after the first in the German races at Oschersleben 2 years ago, and superb performance. Jörg Müller again looking there, just diving inside Gabriele Tarquini. Gabriele knew the game was up, had nothing to offer there, and Jörg went through clean to close on the back of Augusto Farfus. They are 4th and 5th, so they are right in the middle of the race 2 grid as well, so things looking a lot rosier than they were after qualifying. So 4 of our 5 work-supported BMW drivers will be looking very cheery indeed, but unfortunately Andy Prio down in 15th, if he finishes there ahead of the independents, will be very glum indeed.
Yeah, he's not going to be one happy camper, but I mean, it's interesting. There's a complete reversal of what free practice and qualifying was all about. It's been all about the front-wheel drive cars, and the BMW has really struggled apart from the first and second carrier. This Team Italy team, they apparently have something. Rivalia knows something about this place, and he's dialed it into the cars, and look at this. A 1-2 for the team. Fantastic.
A 1-2 for the team. They were 1st and 3rd in qualifying. They won last year's race. They've won again. Alex Zanardi claims his first ever World Championship pole, and from it his second World Touring Car Championship race victory. A fantastic effort by the Italian driver, and behind him Alain Menu on the podium. Farfus, Jörg Müller 4th and 5th for BMW Team Germany, 6th Gabriele Tarquini, 7th James Thompson, and 8th Ivan Müller. So you might want to go and ask for your €2,000 back. He seems not to need it to do well. And just behind Andy Prio, Sergio Hernandez from the back row of the grid wins the independence category. He was the fastest man in the class in qualifying, got bounced to the back for not wearing fireproof socks, and he beats Franz Engstler to the line by inches. Pierre-Yves Courtals in 3rd.
That's a great result for Hernandez, really, considering where he started, and Larini as well, for right on the very back row of the grid to come to 11th place.
Not sure what happened on the final lap, but Stefano D'Aste went off into the barriers. Jaap van Lagen, incidentally, in 6th place in the independence category in the Lada, so that car is certainly starting to pick up the pace, and this is very encouraging for the team. Tiny little team with those 2 Ladas. So, but the big story here, obviously, this weekend, pole position and race 1 win for Alex Zanardi. That, of course, puts him back into 8th place. There's Stefano D'Aste, our independence points leader coming in here. So 0 for him, and he will be, of course, at the back of the grid. Not so much of a drama for him because most of the independents will be fairly close in front of him, but great effort by Alex Zanardi. Really superb performance. He was saying, wasn't he, that this track really suits him because it's flowing, no nadry little chicanes where you have to go down the gearbox, blipping the throttle and steering at the same time, all of which, of course, he has to do with the hand controls that he's using.
I was just going to say, it looked as though he was about to do a donut. I could see that coming.
Well, how many champ car races have we sat and watched over the years where Zanardi has won the race and then gone round donutting to every grandstand in the place? That's why the crowds always loved him, and that's why the crowds always will. He's touring cars Valentino Rossi when it comes to celebrating a win.
He's a highly emotional character. In the press conference yesterday after he got pole position, he was very emotional. He just loves his motorsport. He's just a real character, and to win this race, and you know, there's the best touring car drivers in the world, and this guy is in there and just beat the whole load of them.
Absolutely.
And I can't remember the last time we saw anyone do a donut. That's maybe because they're all front-wheel drive cars there. They should fit them a handbrake.
They should. You'll probably find that's a €2,000 fine as well.
Oh, probably, but I mean, he'll pay the €2,000 fine.
The move the stewards are in this weekend.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of petulance actually being shown possibly by the stewards. All right, everybody has to have fully FIA approved underwear and everything, but they've been getting a lot of flack recently about the championship, the way the weight is working, the way that the turbo diesel and the petrol engine equivalencies aren't seen to be entirely equitable by all the teams, and the way that things are being moved around and everybody's having a bit of a go. And I think it's starting to rankle, and unfortunately, instead of noticing the 800-pound gorilla in the corner of the room, they've gone round doing a little bit of nitpicking, which I don't think has actually helped the situation a very great deal.
No, I think they were flexing their muscles. They were just trying to sort of, excuse me guys, we run this championship, you're not wearing the right gear, and that will detract from all the arguments this weekend about the weight and so on and so forth. But listen. But
the big problem is, in a world championship, to be sending drivers to the back of grid and quite possibly costing them a world championship because you didn't see the right FIA homologation in the right boot. It was in the other boot.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
It is a nonsense. You know, take the plank out of your eye and then start sorting out the splinters. Well, I think that podium went down pretty well with Alan Menu and his boys there.
He's happy. This man here is just going to be absolutely delighted.
Well, you know, and again, I've got the hairs on, you know, prickling on the back of my neck. This is a bit like Oschersleben. Oschersleben, when he won his first